Good day, doctor. My name is Deebanthini Annathurai. Metric number is 278,879. My assignment topic is the determinants of credit risk of the Bank of CIMB Niaga, Indonesia. Okay, now I will talk about the issue of the assignment, which is identifying the internal and external factor that influence the credit risk of the Indonesia Bank, which is CIMB Niaga Bank. Next is the problem statement. The problem statement of this assignment is factors that affecting the credit risk of the Bank of Indonesia over the period of 2018 until 2022. Next, we will see the research objective and research question of this assignment. Research objective is divided into three, which is first one is to identify the internal factors affecting the credit risk of the Bank of Indonesia. Second is to identify the external affecting the credit risk of the Bank of Indonesia. The last one is to identify the internal and external factors affecting the credit risk of the Bank of Indonesia. Next is research question. The research question is three questions, which is there any relationship between internal factors and the credit risk of the Bank of CIMB Indonesia are related? Same goes to others two questions. Now we will see the literature review part. In this literature review, I will explain about the internal and external factors. The first one is credit risk. Credit risk means financial loss due to the parties' failure to fulfill their contractual obligations, which result in the financial loss for the creditors' holders. This credit risk goal is to measurement is quantity prospective losses from credit operations. The next is credit risk and loan loss provision, meaning that estimation is a credit risk management strategy used by banks to mitigate predicted losses on a bank loan portfolios. It will direct impact on the volatility and cyclicality of bank profitability as well as the information characteristic of the bank's financial report. Next, we will see the return on asset, which is ROA. The person is a starting point for calculating the profit contribution necessary from the new investment. The higher the return on investment rate, the higher ROA value suggests better corporate performance. The next one is inflation. Inflation meaning a process through which is prices keeping rise while the amount of the currency continues to fall. Next is equity multiplier. It is a type of leverage. Then the higher equity multiplier means that the capital to asset ratio is lower. It is implying that the capital cost and credit risk are large. Next is interest rate. An interest rate is a proportion of a principal that lender charges for using its money. Finally, leverage. Leverage means it allows a bank to increase the expected earnings or losses on a stake or transaction over what it could do by investing its own money directly. Next is methodology part. Methodology got two part, which is data sampling and variable selection. Data sampling is the study involves a bank in Indonesia, which is CIMB Niaga Indonesia. Its annual reports and the Indonesia's macroeconomy data worth 5 years, which is 2018 until 2022. Next is variable selection. I choose dependent variable as a credit risk for this assignment. Then independent variable I divided into three model, which is model 1 is impact of the internal factors on a credit risk. Model 2 is impact of the external factors on credit risk. Model 3 is impact of both firm internal and external factors on credit risk. Okay, next we will see about the finding and analysis part. First is descriptive statistic of internal and external variables. In this part, I have stated about the mean and standard deviation of the factors. First one is the mean and standard deviation of credit risk are 3% and 0.5%. This credit risk implies that the bank may have experienced variation in the credit risk exposure. Next, ratio of interest income to annual average loan outstanding tell us the bank is unable to produce 0.07 times interest income to 1% of its average loan outstanding. So it implies that loan outstanding is not healthy sign. Next is correlation part. In this correlation, there is only one variable that how strong the correlation with credit risk, namely loan loss provision, reflecting a strong positive correlation which is 0.541. Then the ROE is show that negative strong correlation which is negative 0.607. Other variables shows that moderate correlation, weak correlation, and not significant correlations for other factors. Next, we will see about the model summary. The model 1 shows that the adjusted R square is not significant value, which is 0.730. The factors are market risk, GDP, and DTAR. Model 2 shows that the adjusted R square is 0.751, which is GDP variable is accounted for 75.1% of the variance in credit risk. The last model is model 3. It shows that adjusted R square is 0.884. The factors are CAR, ROA, and DTAR. Now we will see about the ANOVA part. ANOVA part shows that model 1 reflects the overall regression model that is not significant. Model 2 reflects that overall regression model that is moderately significant. Model 3 reflects that overall regression model that is not significant. The next part is regression result. In this regression result, we have note that model 1 and model 3 reflects that not significant with its p-value of 0.100. Lastly, we will see the conclusion part. In conclusion, we identified that LLP is, which is loan loss provision, is a critical accounting decision that has a direct impact on the volatility and cyclicality of the bank profitability, so that the efficiency of the banking sector will increase the expansion of financial inclusion, which will also decrease the income inequality and the gender pay gap of Indonesia. So that's all from me. Thank you.